Guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited to kind of dive a little bit more into, we've known each other for quite some time, worked together for how many years now?
It's been, I think, almost 8 now.
Oh my God.
I think it's almost been 8. I was going to say 6, but I think it's almost been 8.
This is probably 2018, 2019.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right before.
Yeah, I got hurt in 2020, so.
Okay.
And then was already there a couple of years.
About a year after that or so. Okay. All right. Wow. All right. So this is really going to be a recap for us walking down memory lane a little bit, but also understanding a little bit more of where you guys are going to be going forward. So before us getting together, where did you guys start? Like where was it that flip came? Because I know you didn't start in real estate. What were you doing before this?
So before real estate, I was working in Manhattan.
Okay.
I was commuting. It was like a 2-hour commute from where I'm at now, where we actually found a home. And I loved it. I loved my job. I loved everybody that I worked with. I traveled a lot. I went international, travels.
I even got to travel with her.
He got to travel with me. So we were like, oh, we're doing a work trip. You want to come? So we had like a week vacation sometimes. It was amazing. And
Not to cut you off. Where was the best place you guys traveled to together?
Vancouver.
Okay.
Actually, Vancouver Island. Yeah. It's the island. Vancouver is beautiful, but the actual island, if you ever go, you have to.
Okay. I'll put it on the list.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous out there.
Yeah, so I loved my job. I loved everyone I worked with. I couldn't stand the commute anymore. I did it for 10 years at that job. And
5 days a week?
Yes. I mean, they were great where we could work from home sometimes. But even with working from home, I was done with the commute. I was doing the bus, walking. Walking was great because it kept me in shape. The bus, the train, anything that I could switch it up, the subway, I was trying. I just wasn't happy with the commute anymore. Okay. So from there, I actually got another job closer to home because I thought it was just the commute.
In the same industry?
Same industry.
What were you doing?
I was doing marketing for a cosmetic company.
Okay.
And I worked with account holders basically and did a lot of their behind the scenes marketing materials.
Okay.
So I went on the flip side of that business to the manufacturing side of cosmetics. And I worked in a manufacturing plant in New Jersey. Realized that it wasn't just the commute.
Real fast.
That I really wasn't happy with. I just wasn't happy with doing that line of work anymore either.
Got it.
That place taught me a big lesson because it was a toxic environment, I would say, and it really pushed me to go into real estate.
What were the driving forces that you looked at real estate and said, oh, this is going to be a different way to do business?
So actually rewind like 3 years before that job, we were getting our house and our realtor was amazing. And she kept saying to me, Laura, you would be excellent at this. You could work for me. At the time she was saying, I want to work with you. And I was like, this sounds, like I could do this. I was very organized and I really enjoyed the whole process. So I want to say when I wasn't happy at my job, it kind of made me remember that moment. And that's where I kind of backtracked and said, hey, I remember really enjoying that. Let me get into that and see if I like it even more. And so that's kind of how I got into it.
Okay. And then what year was that?
Oh, that was 5 years before I joined you.
Okay.
So
Bought our house in
2012?
I think December of 11.
11, yeah.
So around 2012 or 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're 12 plus years into this and okay.
Yeah.
And then Steve, when did you saw what Laura was doing?
Yep.
And said, okay, how did you interconnect to it? When did you come on into the whole husband
Long time
wife?
later. But at the time, I had my own landscape construction and contracting business that I did for some years. An unfortunate accident sidelined me 2020, like I mentioned before.
I remember that.
And just going through that really kind of put into perspective what I want to do. Since I was 16 years old, I've been breaking my back and working physical labor. So to do that, carrying out now 45 years old, it was kind of one of those things like now I have a lot of going against me. Am I really going to be able to do this anymore? And then watching Laura grow and watching Laura just not struggle. Struggles, it's a relative term there because she wasn't struggling, but with the growth came a lot more, I guess you could say,
obstacles.
You know, so you're one person doing a job that is designed for more than one person.
Mm-hmm.
So it became a unique opportunity to be like, hey, maybe, you know what, let me jump in and be that. You have two people working towards the same goal. Why wouldn't that make sense when you're trying to get other random people to come work towards your same goal? Are they going to carry the same drive that your partner in life is going to carry with you? And that's kind of one of those things where it's kind of like a no-brainer.
Alexis Group now exists. That's been in for a few years. Mm-hmm. Before that, talk me through what was a differentiating factor? Because again, you went from, something completely different into real estate, started to really grow. You saw enough movement and said, all right, hold on a second, going through some growing pains, right?
Yeah.
Need some assistance, need some support. We got to move forward together as a team, per se. But before that, what were some of the things that you were looking at that you wanted to have define you as an agent?
Now looking back of where I started, I feel like I did a lot of trying things. It was like a trial and error period of figuring things out on my own. I don't think I had the proper support system then, but I was so motivated that I was like, I can do this myself. Now I realize that it's super important to have that support system, which is what I found.
Yeah, with a legit lack of support, she was able to put herself into a position to where you found her.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think it's more so, well, there's two. I'm going to answer two questions. One you didn't really even ask, but
go for it.
As far as the agent end, I think I looked at it as I can do this and I can also show other agents how they can do it in a different way and not experience it the way that I experienced it. From a client standpoint, I think it's more so that I really just wanted to be there for them through the tough times of the journey that they're going through, because I know it was a tough time for us, even though I was very in control with our process, but I know not everybody is going to feel that way when they're buying their first home or their next home. So I think for the client side of things, I really wanted to stand out and do the extra, 110% if I can for them, and make sure that I'm there all the way from the beginning to the end through the process.
And I think that that's a misnomer for a lot of the general public and or even agents. The idea, especially, you guys have a couple of newer agents on your team that have just gotten their feet wet into the business. They get to the point where the real estate book says, all right, your job's done. Right? You've negotiated everything. Everything's there. Now it's the attorneys, the title company, and all these other people, not realizing that's where really the harder work is coming into play because of setting expectations or, moving the process along and possibly even communicating and translating what an attorney is going to say. Right? So that's been a little bit of what you're talking about as far as walking them all the way through to the finish line.
I think that communication is super important because they don't really know. Like when the attorney talks to them, it's all legal jargon. So kind of dumbing it down. Not, dumbing it down, but dumbing it down for them.
Turning it back into English.
Yeah, turning it back into English, I think is really important so that they can have a little bit of, ease of mind too during that part.
Yeah, and you got to be honest. It's like we're here. We're trying to make a career. We're trying to make a living for ourselves, and we're trying to support our families and our growth. But at the end of the day, this really is about the client, and I think that's kind of where we both really push towards. Is like the client is it's the end goal for the transactions. I always tell my clients, I don't mean to get so personal and feel like I'm so vested, but I am. I want to treat them like I would treat a member of my family and make sure that they understand that so they're comfortable, because this is buying and selling are two of the three hardest things you can do in your life. The other being divorce, which nobody wants to go through. But if you want to put that into perspective, then buying and selling is not easy.
The majority of our business is buying and selling at the same time. So a lot of our clients that we work with, they're doing both. So we have to kind of make sure that they're, less stressed on the buying end and then also, their sale end too. So that's
while convincing them, don't worry, you won't be homeless.
Yes, exactly.
And that domino effect seems to is happening way more in this day and age, and kind of managing that and understanding that. Because look, I wish there was so much more inventory out there, and I don't think we're going to go back to a point where there's going to be so much more inventory that people can really pick and choose everything they want, the timeline they want. So I think you guys are bringing up a very valuable point of all of the transactions you guys have done in the most recent history has had a lot of people saying, all right, I want to sell, but I also need to buy, and I don't want to be homeless. And and what does that look like? So it's almost become like a little bit of a superpower for you guys to say, hey, we've done this a lot. Let's show you how this process works, right? And I think there's where the new agents even come in.
Exactly. Circle back. And that's exactly that point. It's just like, so in an ever-changing market, that's one of like a valuable tool that we want to be impart on these people so they can be successful and they can, try to build up to where we are and to get to there, because it's we want people that have that drive to help the clients, and it's to get them there and to be able to advance with the market is a big deal. I think we handle it pretty well ourselves, not to toot our own horns, but to be able to impart that on other people that want to be a part of this, it's rewarding.
So go back a little bit more with the history. So while you were with Coronato Property Group, you started to build the Alexis Group. What were some of the things that you needed to implement or felt you had to implement in order to start the team and make it something that was going to be an attractor for other people to come to? Or what was the kind of turning point for you to say, all right, well, going from single agent, single producer, brought your husband in, now you guys are a team, now we're starting a group. What were some of the things that you felt you needed to do in that span to say, hey, we're going to need to attract more agents, but also we've got more business even beyond the two of you that you can handle? And then what does that look like? What do those mechanisms look like? Like, what were the kind of differentiating factors for you guys?
Yeah, so for the team, and I think that we really want to have a more intimate environment for our agents. So being able to have that one-on-one with them, I think is super important, because they're still getting a person. They're not just getting, a robot. And
to take it a step before that, or step backwards, however that works. It really started out as just like the Alexis Group was just a team. It was just us two. Why not? Why not sell us as just us two? Because we're a team, and why not? And then it quickly grew to a point where the opportunity was really present there to be like, you know what? We can bring in more people. We can help sustain more. The idea of growth really grew there. And if, how else are you going to grow unless you have more people helping you? Because there's only so much two people can do. So it's like we realized the potential of what happened after two people started doing one person's job. Now what happens when 3 people are doing it? What happens when 4 people are doing it? Right. So on and so forth.
As far as like the opportunities for the agents, I think being able to do a lot of the community events that we do, because we're involved in a lot of the youth programs, which we love doing. It's a lot of fun. But being able to bring them into that, and that's kind of their own marketing in a way, I think is super important.
Because we touch on the old school way of doing things. We're out there, we're on social media, we do those things, but we really feel like connecting with the community is a much stronger tool in your belt. And that's why we like to do those things, and to bring them in. Not only are we bringing them in to help us, but we're also bringing people in that are going to support the community that we live in and that they live in, and give them an opportunity to do the same thing that we're doing. Because again, it's not to say that this is all about validation, but there is validation in that, and it's on top of it. Like we do a little league event, and we're handing out hot dogs to kids, and we're set up under our tent, and we're there, and we're out all day. And not a single person comes up to us and be like, "So, what's the market look like today?" You know what I mean? Like it's not really about that. But it puts us out there, and you see us, we're out here, we're here. It's our way of giving back.
The value you guys are bringing to your community to increase the value of your community, right? So there's something cyclical about that, of saying, all right, well, we want to see our home, right? So, I tell all my neighbors all the time, guys, sell your house with me. I know you might have a cousin of this or that or whatever it is, but I want my next door neighbors on all sides, all the block, sell your house with me. Why? Because it's only going to make my house worth that much more, right? So the idea that the more I get for you, better it's going to be for me. I have a vested interest in specifically selling them. And for you guys, having that vested interest in the community seems to be an enormous moving part for you to get more and more business. Because how much of your business do you think is even generated by referral?
Yeah, majority, I would say 95, if not more.
We're talking 90s for sure.
Yeah.
Which in this day and age was unheard of, right? Because everyone is going, and it's not taking away from it by any stretch. The metaverses and the TikToks and all of the social and all of the online presence is enormous. Then to still have a huge chunk of your business coming from your neighbors, your friends, your family, and then teaching that to the agents that you're bringing in just makes it that much better.
It's generational. So we've had families that we've worked 3 generations, the parents, the kids, and then their kids. So it's just
moved the whole family up from Queens.
Yeah.
Parents, brother, sister.
And that's really is the majority of our business.
Sure.
And a lot of it is word of mouth. So I would say we just got our 100th review.
Okay.
All 5-star reviews.
5-star.
And they're doing the reviews because they want to do the reviews. Right. So, that's the best kind of reward.
I love that, the agents that you're bringing on and continue to bring on, because now you're getting more and more, and we'll talk about that next. The idea that you're being able to implement those systems into place seems to be a really good factor for their growth, which is obviously going to help you guys and, help the team move forward to offer more to the agent. With the recent switch over, that's kind of why we're here. The idea that when I merged and said, all right, I need to look at something a little different, wanted to go into a different space in the real estate world, I looked at eXp, had some associates and friends and said, all right, I'm going to look into this. One of my first phone calls when I said, hey, by the way, Coronato Property Group is probably going to go this direction, was to you guys. You guys were a strong player within my brokerage, and I wanted to understand where your guys' thought process was. What do you feel as you guys looked at everything and said, all right, Chris laid this all out. We know Coronato Property Group is not going to exist. We had a good conversation about the Alexis Group and where that can go. What kind of bridged the gap for you guys to sit back and say, the Alexis Group brokered by eXp, what did that look like for you? What did that mean to you guys?
Well, I like that you did most of the research first. Okay. So I appreciate that. But looking at what you came up with and then us doing our own research and also doing research from prior years on different brokerages, we know what's out there and we know what we need. So I think it was more of we're confident and know what we want in our business, and the choice that you made, I think, really fit that business model that we're looking for. And I'm also excited because I know, I love like a smaller boutique feel. But going through the process, I feel like we still get that, and we're able to give that to our agents as well. But we do have a lot more tools. We have a lot more resources that I didn't really even know that I could tap into. So I think the combination of having the resources, tools, the support that we've always had, but even continued support, and then the boutique feel of having those one-on-ones and having a person to actually be your, mentor, sure, if you want to say that, is there. So that's kind of where I felt confident in the next decision, of joining.
And on top of trusting your advice and following your direction, like I've always mentioned that to you in the past, is that, we're going to follow you. We were always very appreciative of your support and what you did and your support of us in general. It's just, we take your advice and we take your opinion, not with a grain of salt, but very heavily.
And to add to that, I just have to say, I think going through this process, that's been able to help us transfer that down the line. So the agents that come and join our team, we want to have that same model for them too. So that's kind of
awesome. I appreciate that very much. And I think that that's something for me, and I think you guys touched down on it, the idea that I always looked at eXp and I said, all right, we've known about them for a while. Now we're part of it, but it was almost the perception of lack of people, right? And it's become exactly the opposite. At least for me, it has. And I know for you guys have utilized a lot of different people within the resources that we have at our disposal. So you guys are part of that whole org that we're building of saying, hey, if you guys need advice or whatever it is, I'm here. And then if I'm not, here's all these other people that are coming into play that can help with whatever it may be. Someone's got the magic button to hit to say, oh, you want this? No problem. Here it is. You want that? Here it goes. So I do think, as I looked at it from my perspective of saying, I wanted all the tech, I wanted all the tools, I want to compete with everybody that's out there on any scale, but I also want to have, to what your point is, the intimacy of being able to sit back and be part of the community and be part of our agents' lives and understand exactly what's going on there so we can nurture and promote and move forward. It's huge. Speaking of moving forward, what does the next 5 to 10 years look like for you guys?
I have an idea of a small office and, 5 to 7 active producing agents, same type of mindset, same motivation. But I think that's really where my goal is and where my head's at right now. But we're really here to build. So I know Steve's all about building, I'm about building. So together I feel like we really can build something. That's great.
I think that kind of touches back onto why eXp, on top of the opportunity that was given to us essentially to really take the Alexis Group and make it the Alexis Group. Not to say that we couldn't say that we were the Alexis Group, but at this point in time, it's, we're kind of front and center on that. Obviously, yes, eXp is there, but the Alexis Group has the opportunity to be a more prominent name. But, in 5 to 10 years, you actually finally see a position where we can be into, maybe we don't have to just focus so much on sales. Because yes, as rewarding as it is, it's not easy doing 35, 40 transactions a year. It takes a lot out of you. End goal is, maybe we get to take a step back and we get to bring more people in, even whether it not be in our office, whether it just be within the eXp world, that opportunity there to bring more people in and give them the same thing that you're giving us and say, listen, I'm here, we're here, we'll support you, we can get you to where we are, you just have to follow the path.
I love it. I love all of it. I'm excited to see all of it. I really do think the world of you guys. And I think that everything that you guys are doing and have done for the last 8 years that I've known you has been exemplary. I know you're going to continue to bring all of that in and not forget about it while you add so much more on to where you're going to go and what you're going to do. So guys, I appreciate you joining me today. And I'm really excited for all of it. Not going anywhere. So I'll see you guys down the road.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.